Hello, my name is Katrina Cooper, and for our critical response number 2, I did a painting called Restless Nature. I chose to do a painting because I wanted to show how nature can be perceived different ways during the different times of day. I chose to do a painting on a canvas board, which is white. I chose white, and I wanted to do a mountain scene in the wilderness, kind of. And I chose to draw my mountains first so I can get an outline of what was going to happen. And then I divided it into four pieces so I can figure out which ways I wanted to start with. I knew I wanted night and day to show how a peaceful night can be and how restless the daytime could be, or how restless night could be and how peaceful the daytime is, just depending on how you perceive it. So I wanted to make sure that each side was almost the same, but not exactly. So I divided it in half, then I divided it again, the half in fourths. So I had four different sides that I was working on. I wanted to make sure that the big body of water that is right here was in the middle, and I wanted to make sure that was like the focal point for a little bit. And then you would move to each side. So I drew my mountains next, and I then did my trees and my sun and moon. And then I went with the paint and I outlined the mountains with black paint. And then I outlined the trees with black paint. And then I worked on my skies. I did a light blue sky with, I used blue paint and then I mixed it with white. And then I mixed it with a little bit of gray to give it a cloud effect. And then I did my sun where I put yellow paint. I used four different yellows. I used a bright yellow, a medium type yellow, and then a dark yellow, and then I used another medium yellow. And then I put orange on top of it so it looked like the sun was high in the sky, but you couldn't really tell what time of day it was. And then I wanted to put streaks of the sun going through so it looks like the rays of the sun is reaching out into the sky. I then went to my trees. My trees are used with dark green. I used a dark green, so I used the darkest green I had mixed with a little bit of black so that I can get a foresty look with my trees. And then I went to do my grass where I did like a very light grass because I wanted it to contrast against the dark trees. So I then mixed it with white and green. I mixed green and white together. And then I painted it with broad strokes to cover the whole bottom of the canvas. And I put pink flowers on the day side. Then I moved to my water. I made sure I wanted my water to have like a rippling effect. So I used a light blue in the center, and then I kept getting darker and darker as it goes out. But then I realized I didn't want it to just be dark around the edges, so I then went back with the light blue around so that it looked like the water was flowing. And then I wanted to match the water with the water in the pond with the water in the river. So I just kept going up with the lighter blue, and then I realized I wanted it kind of to touch the sky, so I blended the colors together with the sky, and so it's like a line. So I wanted that to give you like the divide, like this is day and this is night. Then I moved over to the darker night side of the grass, which is a dark green. And I mixed a lot of black and green together so that it really does look like nighttime and it gives you a nighttime effect. But then I wanted you to actually see the trees at night, so I made them a little bit lighter than they would actually be at night. And then I moved to my sky. I wanted the sky to show a little bit of a cloud effect, even though it's not night. Even though it's not daytime, they still have a little bit of clouds. So I made it really darker in the corners, and then I started moving it and making it lighter as I went towards the moon. I mixed yellow with white to make my moon so that the moon looked like it was glowing at night. And then I went through with my brush and did splatter paint of stars so that it looks like the stars are in the sky and that they're contrasting against the dark paint. I then went to create my mountains. I mixed my dark purple that I already had for the light side, but I mixed it more with the gray so that I can get a darker version of the purple. And then I put with some gray, gray on top of that so that it could look like snow-capped mountains. And then I made a little fire to show how, even though it's nighttime outside, there's still living people there. So I put fire with a little bit of smoke. I took the same gray I did with my mountains and just drew a line to make it look like the smoke was falling up to the sky. And then I went all through my mountains and did a black painting pen to outline the mountains to give it a dramatic effect. That is my painting.